Okay, I thought I'd make a quick video. I hadn't been putting out much content, I know. Like I said, I'm still waiting on the next project that I'm going to end up doing. I'm not sure what that's going to be yet. In the meantime, you see this Honda CB350 right here. This is one I was working on for a buddy of mine. We did a few other videos with this bike. He did the paint and some other things like that. So he's done a lot of work on it, but he needed my help with a little bit of the bike. And one of the problems he had was he had taken it home and started having problems with it. It just wouldn't ever run right. Wouldn't pick up power when you roll the gas on. It would idle. You get it running, but it just wouldn't run strong when you rolled the power on. Well, he brought it over to my place and we started working on it. One of the things we figured out was that he had intermittent spark on the right-hand cylinder, and tested the coil. Anyway, it turned out it had bad coil. So we went ahead and replaced both coils, new plug wires, all that fun stuff, resistors. Put all that in while we were under the tank, so got that installed. The other thing, so we got that done. That alleviated the spark problem. We tested that. That worked. Also, while we were working on the bike, wanted to... He had this new Delcovic 2-in-1 exhaust he wanted to put on, so we got that put on the bike. Sounds great, by the way. But anyway, so we got that installed. We test rode the thing after we had it sparking correctly, and again, it would idle great. But when you took it out on the road, it just wouldn't pick up and hold power. It wouldn't rev out. It'd start coughing and banging and sputtering and doing all kinds of bad things. I had a bike do that once before, and it was actually that the spark advance wasn't opening up. So it felt kind of like that, but anyway, it just, that wasn't it. When we looked at it, we rev it on the lift and that kind of thing with the points cover off, it just, everything looked to be fine. So it was one of those deals where you had to step back and say, okay, what's really going on here? So took the side covers off, took the air cleaners off. I figured it might be a fuel flow problem, and put it up on the lift, started it up with the air cleaners and everything out of the way. And when you would rev it, you could watch the slide go up and down, right, on the carburetors. And there's two carburetors. So when we would rev it, the slide would go up and down on the right carburetor, but the slide wouldn't move at all on the left carburetor. And so when we could see that, now you know it's a fuel delivery problem. And so the carburetor slide wasn't going up and down. So they were trying to establish, okay, why was that happening? And then, in this, like I say, on these CV carbs, they're actuated by vacuum. So I figured it was a vacuum leak. And it was just a matter of where. So, the first thing I did was I took the carb, and it was a left carb that had the slide that wasn't going up and down. And so I just tilted it to the side and to look at the diaphragm and see if there was a tear in the diaphragm on that CV carb or what. And what I discovered, and I'll show you here on this carb I got on the bench, is when I took the top off. I'll pop this one off of this old parts carb here, kind of show you what it looks like. Show you here. So again, when the carb was on the bike and we were revving it, you could look up in the throat here and you couldn't see the slide moving up and down. And these slides are vacuum actuated, and they've got this rubber diaphragm. And so I figured there was a tear in the diaphragm. So what I did was I didn't even take the carb all the way off. I just tilted it to the side like that by loosening off the manifold. And when I rotated it to the side, it let me take the little top off. And what I found was that this was all distorted. And the rubber was actually up over the lip right here. And so what I did was, on that carb, I took Took it out, and what I found was the diaphragm had slipped out from underneath this plastic piece here. It slides down over the slide and pinches that diaphragm and keeps it in place. It wasn't pushed down far enough, and so it was allowing the diaphragm to slip out from in between, and under vacuum it had pulled up over the edge of it like this. So what happens then is we had a serious vacuum leak. Wasn't lifting the slide, it wasn't allowing the air fuel mixture to open up whenever under hard acceleration and under load, and that was the whole running problem. So what we did was we just simply corrected that issue by we took the diaphragm and made sure we had it good and stuffed in between these two pieces right here, and then tapped this down and got it good and tight and snug. Created a good seal, and once we had that, put everything back together. Bike revved well. We took it out, took it for a test drive. Bike pulls strong, so it's a really strong, good running bike right now. I told him what was going on with it, and so he's probably going to come take it for a test ride. Because the one thing that I did notice during the test ride was it also is smoking quite a bit. So it's burning some oil. He had dropped the bike. So I don't know if he got oil up in the cylinder when it was dropped and it just needs to burn out of there, or but I think that's probably not the case. It's probably more the case that the bike's just burning oil and may need a top end rebuild. So we'll see. He'll come ride it a little bit and kind of decide what he wants to do. I told him if we got to rebuild the top end, it's going to take some time. And if we end up doing that, there's a good chance that maybe I'll do some videos on that. Rebuilding the 350 top end is something I've done multiple times. Told him there's just, there's time involved with it, but it should be something that is very doable. But we'll let him decide where he wants to go, or whether he wants to ride it for a while and just check the oil if he doesn't mind the smoke coming out the tailpipe. But anyway, just wanted to do a quick little video on that to let you know that, if you've got one of these old Honda 350 twins, and bike, ain't really probably any bike using this type of a CV carb, if you've got a vacuum leak that prevents that slide from lifting whenever it's under throttle, it can make the bike run really, really bad, and it won't get up to speed. You might, it's the whole saying about most of the time when you think it's a fuel problem, it's a spark problem, and most of the time when you think it's a spark problem, it's a fuel problem. So in this case, it was a little bit of both. Like I say, had a bad coil, and then he had a carburetor that had a vacuum leak. Once we got those two items fixed, bike runs like a top, pulls strong, it just burns some oil. So we'll kind of see where it goes from here and see if we end up working on this bike some more. Or who knows, maybe we find that project bike that we're looking for that we just haven't been able to find yet. Anyway, short little video. Just wanted to kind of bring you guys up to speed on what we've been working on lately. Thanks.